Hey everybody, Shiv here. Alright, so we're going to be taking a look at another deck by Timus. If you don't know who Timus is, I'll make sure to put a link to his Twitter down there. He's actually come up with some pretty decent decks over time. And I've played some of them. Some of them I didn't like right away, and then later on I actually really appreciated once I learned the ins and outs of it. Some of them took me about 25 to 50 games before I really started to get it. And then some like this one, I literally got in the first 10 seconds of looking at it and playing it. True fact. I don't know what that actually means, if I'm getting better, or if it just makes a lot more sense. Or the fact that it's Hunter, and God only knows how much Hunter games I've played. Like, if they actually had stats for Hunter games, you'd be like, wow, Shiv, you are sucking Rexar's dick. Yeah, pretty much. As much as I hate Hunter, yeah, I've played a lot of it. Sad times. Moving on. Alright, so the deck is called StarSeekin Lock and Load. I've abbreviated it down to just StarSeekin L&L. Yeah, I know my cam is covering it. Bear with me, guys. Alright. So, we're going to talk about the deck, and I'm going to show you some footage of it in play. It's actually a really fun deck. Surprisingly good deck. Like, I started playing it with the expectation it was going to be like a few of his other decks to where, you know, I might struggle at first, but then it would really start to make a little bit more sense to me, and I would eventually like it. I had a totally different reaction. I started playing it, made perfect sense to me, and I had a lot of fun. In unranked, it ran 75%. I played about 4 games in rank, and it was running about 75% there, too. I'm not sure how that happened, but GG. Actually, I know why it happened, but alright. So, let's get into the deck, and we're going to talk about that real quick here. Alright, so Hunter's Mark, we're running 2 of them for a very specific reason. We have Lock and Load, and it's a good removal tool. You really want to control the board for a good amount of the game, considering, you know, Starseeker is your win condition. Alright. Arcane Shot, see Lock and Load, see the fact that we're running Blood Mage Thanos and, you know, Azure Drake, so yeah, spell power fucking for the win. Web Spinner, here's your turn 1 play you almost always want to get, but it's not required, alright? Not required. Bear Trap, never want this in your opening hand, but this is a really good card. I'm really falling in love with this card every time I play it. Lock and Load, this is kind of one of the cool things here. We're going to go to the gold one just because it looks so fucking pretty. This card has like 2 really cool effects that I've discovered. One, adding in value that your opponents have a real hard time trying to figure out, you know, what you have left in your deck, this, that, and the other. It really can fuck with them. And 2, there's a psychological effect of this card. Seeing that crosshair just hover over the board really fucks with people. Holy shit, does it really fuck with me. I've had people message me afterwards like, I fucking hate that card. Good times, guys. Good times. Alright. Quick Shot. Come on. It makes sense. We got Lock and Load. We got spell damage. And, you know, it's a Hunter card. So, you know, why not? Alright. Snake Trap. This is the last of the traps. We're only running 2 total traps here. Alright. What I like about this card is it definitely gives a lot of value. More so than I ever really gave it credit, because most of the time when this actually goes off, you know, you'll be able to finish off whatever they didn't kill or what they killed, and you know, it's yeah, I like that. I really like it. It's definitely won me games. All right, Blood Mage Thanos. We've got a lot of spells that can do damage here. It's card draw, it's low cost, and when you combine it with, say, Power Shot, that's a 3 damage, you know, cone effect clear. Fun times, let me tell you. Alright, Mad Scientist. If I've got to explain Mad Scientist and its value in Hunter, then you guys have not been paying attention for the last fucking year. Deadly Shot. This is probably one of my all-time favorite control cards in Hunter. I've used this in every control deck I ever made, from like CBT on till about a little after Nax. I stopped with trying to make Control Hunter after Nax, mostly because they gutted the shit out of it. Though, I can honestly say this deck is kind of a control, but it's RNG control, and it's so strange. But this card definitely has a huge amount of value, and the reason why I say it has a huge amount of value is you're going to spend a lot of time controlling their board to where when you get to more of the late game, like around turn 6, 7, 8, they're going to be playing on curve. So Deadly Shot to get rid of something on curve, like say Ragnaros or Ysera or whatnot is actually really, really good. However, sometimes you just gotta RNG it, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna get on your knees, you're gonna pray to RNG, and RNG is probably gonna skull fuck you. Alright, statistics. He doesn't pay attention to numbers, he just does whatever he wants, or she, or whatever gender you want to apply to it. But yeah, so sometimes you have to YOLO this, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But the card is still one of my personal favorites. Alright, Power Shot. We're only running one in this deck, and I keep trying to think, is there a way to squeeze another one in? No, there's not. But again, we are running Lock and Load, so you could get a second copy, which I have had happen. Alright, and it did help a lot. And as I stated, because we're running some spell damage minions in here, you can get some really good value out of it. Alright, Unleash the Hounds. This is a staple of Hunters since, like, day one. It's going to continue to be a staple, so it makes no surprise while it's here. I mean, we're also running Hunter's Mark, and also you can use it with Lock and Load, which I've done repeatedly. Alright, Dread Scale. Now, I saw this, I'm like, I really don't care for that card. And then I started thinking about it, it's like, you know, you are running 2 Hunter's Mark. It's like, yeah, that's true. So, I mean, definitely, it's a good card. It's a great play for after an implosion. It's a great play if you play it on turn 3 after, say, a muster for battle. Yeah, this pisses paladins off left and right. Alright, at least StarSeeker. Here is your fucking win condition, alright? Now, historically, Lock and Load decks, they normally had to pack a lot of bigger end minions, you know, your high mains, your Dr. Booms, and something else in order for them to have any value. Well, that didn't work out nearly as well as a lot of people wanted it to. But at least StarSeeker is actually kind of interesting. And why it's interesting is the older versions, you had to actually lessen the amount of fuel you had for Lock and Load combos in order to have win conditions. Well, here, you don't have to lessen that fuel at all, and anything that's left over becomes your win condition. So Elise definitely does help this out quite a bit. In one of the matches I was doing on ladder, I was playing up against the Rogue. Elise had just came out. I had gotten the map and put the monkey in the deck. And the funny thing about it was I ended up getting the monkey into play at the right time, and I had just enough mana left over to just completely crush him, destroy his board, and yeah, I mean, Elise literally did turn the tide there because he was winning, but Elise and everything that happened with it just panned out perfectly. Now again, this is RNG, so sometimes it's not going to work out that way, and you got to accept that when you're playing this deck. All right, it's never going to work out as well as you want it to, but when it does, you're going to feel so damn good, guys, so damn good. Alright, so Sen'jin's in this deck. Yes, why? Because this deck relies a lot on RNG, and having some defensive options makes a lot of sense. And also, it's got an antique heal bot because this pisses off aggro decks. And also, it allows you to get to the point where you can start getting to your win condition and start actually doing some stuff. Azure Drake's in here to speed it up, also provide that little bit of spell damage in order to clear boards, maintain control. Sludge Belcher because more defensive options to help maintain control. Emperor Thurazan is in the deck for one simple reason, lowering the cost on those spells, thus making Lock and Load have extreme amounts of value for a low cost, okay? So imagine if all your secrets costed you 1 mana and you're playing them all with Lock and Load. Imagine Unleash the Hounds costing 2 and you're playing with Lock and Load, so you could actually fit more stuff in to get the combo, or to be able to play the next card that's going to come up from using Lock and Load, which actually happens quite often and pays out pretty decently. Alright, not to mention the fact lowering the cost on Lock and Load also opens up more mana for you to add more to it, so you see where I'm getting at with this. Alright, we're also running Sylvanas because taking people's shit is funny. And actually, it's a really strong minion that people will actually trade their board into just to deny you taking their shit. I know, it's kind of weird how that works, but it does. And last up is Baron Geddon. No, Baron Geddon is not a win condition, but is yet, again, a more control option. Alright, you have to think of this deck as a control deck. Control decks basically deny all options up to a certain point, and then they start pushing for their own agenda of winning. Well, your agenda of winning here is basically getting the damn monkey in play. Once that happens, all bets are off. And you just push the best way you possibly can with the legendaries that you're going to get. Alright. So yeah, Baron does a really good job of clearing boards. I've actually done this with several times where I've played Baron and done a power shot just to weaken like the 3 minions that were on the board. That way Baron wiped their board. Fun times. Alright. Alright, so that's the deck. Now let's watch it play. I will be commentating over this. Now I'm going to apologize for the lack of sound on this, but when I was recording this, as many of you know, I listen to a lot of music, and well, YouTube and music tend to have this weird little thing when I do a video with them. Digital Millennium Copyright Act sucks. Alright. Spin, 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 spin. Yep, there's the little stall. Alright. So we're versus a hunter. Now this is always a scary situation because almost 90% of the time the hunters you're going to face are going to be face hunters, and that's something you should always expect, that aggressive nature. So you have to keep that in mind. Even if it's a mid-range hunter, playing as if it is a face hunter in the beginning is always a good play. Alright, so we didn't get the web spinner, but that's okay. We've got a 2-drop, and we pulled the lock and load. And then we also notice on turn 3, we can actually get some lock and load value here. Not much, but enough to be worthwhile. Alright, so he coins out a Knife Juggler, which is a very aggressive opening, and one that we could answer, but I'm really playing to the value of the lock and load. Now, is this a mistake? Possibly. It's a dangerous gambit, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie. It's probably not the smartest of ideas. And this is exactly why. But mind you, since I do have the answer, and we are on that 3 mana spot, it's okay. But I did allow myself to take 4 damage that I generally wouldn't have had to take. Now, this might seem like a waste of a hunter's mark, but we end up getting a Scavenging Hyena and a power shot. So now we have 2 power shots, which means, you know, we can control the board relatively well. But again, this is hunter. Controlling their board is not overly hard, considering it's probably a face hunter. And seeing the Glaive Zuka pretty much confirms it is a face hunter. And we get our bear. The bear is going to die to the Wolf Rider, which, you know, is an actually good thing. And we do have StarSeeker that we're going to play on turn 4, trying to push towards our end game. Now remember, Map to the Golden Monkey is a spell, which means you can play with lock and load. Animal Companion comes out. Now, we could get through it simply, but I'm opting to actually do it a little bit more complicated than it should be, just because I want the card draw. I want to get to some other options here. And yeah, we're doing okay. We have a board, he does not. He'll probably play something that's, you know, chargy and just continue to hurt face. But he opts to go another route here, which, you know... No, he went the charge route, that's right. I almost forgot the sequencing on this. Alright. So now we have Unleash the Hounds, and I have a nice little combo here to give myself a 4-3. And like I said, I really only want a Blood Mage out there for the card draw, just to accelerate where I need to go. And we get the Lock and Load, Golden Lock and Load, which by the way is going to be pretty special looking here in a second. But we're not going to use it right away, because our hand is a little too weak to do that. Now, this is 9 times out of 10 going to be explosive. Here comes the Eagle Horn Bow, so he's going to start pushing damage. Now, we're going to do the one thing that pisses off every single hunter since the beginning of time. We're going to heal. We're also not going to activate that secret to allow him to add 3 more damage. We're looking at our life, and we're playing around with numbers in our head right now, trying to see if we can kind of get there. And it's mostly a delaying action, just so we can get to the map, and then inevitably to the monkey. Now, we've got a power shot in hand, and we're feeling really, really good about it. But he's letting us know, oh no, I'm making you suffer for this. And boy, did he. That 8 damage we just healed, he just took off. Alright. So we're going to go with the lock and load. We drop the power shot. Boom. See what we get. We get a tracking, which is really, really good. And we end up taking the map to the golden monkey. Made a lot of sense. See, it all worked out really nice. Monkey goes in, and look at that. We got another hunter's mark. So that's really cool. Alright, so we lose one, but we're still dealing 7 damage to face. And we're keeping it relatively close, but right now, he knows he's got us on a 3-turn clock. There's only a few cards that could really save us at this point to prevent that. So he continues just to push all face. He's trying to race us down. He's going, nope, you're done, son. You're done. And look at that, the monkey. Now, we're taking really big risk here. We go for the Harrison, just because YOLO. I'm not going to allow him to, get that down. And look at that, we end up getting our own Leroy. And now what was looking like a solid win for him is now literally being held up by a fucking golden monkey. I'm telling you, the more I play with Elise, the more I love her. And he realizes he's screwed and concedes. Against Face Hunter, took it to turn 9 and won, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, technically turn 10. So yeah, the deck definitely holds its own. Now, I will say this right now. I took it to ranked. It struggled a little bit, but eventually found its own. But definitely, this is a deck you want to play for fun, so I would highly recommend it in unranked, and you'll have a lot of fun with it. This is something that generally makes you really enjoy the game. And after time, you can take this to rank and probably do better than 50% and have a good time with that, And I think that's like the important takeaway of it. You'll definitely have a good time with it. So yeah, anyway, so that's all for this video. I'm going to link down below the Hearthstone link for it. It's got a little bit of a guide on it. You really should read it. It's pretty good. Though it could use a little bit of better formatting, which I'm going to go beat Timus about. But other than that, yeah, check that out. So down below, you're going to find the deck link and his Twitter. Go ahead and check those both out. Give him a like and a follow. If you really like the deck, hey, give it a +1 on Hearthstone, alright? Till next time, this is Shiv saying stay safe, have fun, and may RNGesus bless you. And if he doesn't, it's all Timus's fault. And, the Twitter link's down below, so go bug him about it. Peace.